everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Faith. Thank you so much for being here. Today I'm going to be doing a hair tutorial, which I am very excited about. I have not done a hair tutorial on my channel in a super long time, and fun fact, the most watched video on my channel was my first hair tutorial ever, and I actually just went back and watched it before sitting down to film this video, and it was so cringy to me because not only was it my first hair tutorial, it was one of my first videos ever on my channel, and I've just gotten so much more comfortable talking with you guys through the camera. It did not come naturally at first, but yeah, anyways, I won't ramble on and on. Today we're going to be using this bad boy here. This is a waver or crimper. I am sure that you have seen these everywhere. They've been very popular for a year or two now, and I have to say I was a little bit late to the game in getting one of these, mostly because I remember when I was either in middle school or high school, I think it was Bedhead or TG, however you say it, came out with a crimper or waver, and it just was terrible, at least on me. It was such a tight crimp, and I know that that was more of like a 2000s, like early 2000s or 90s thing, but it was just not flattering at all. I was trying to be like Lizzie McGuire or one of those girls, and that crimper did me wrong. So I was a little hesitant to get back on the crimping or waving game, but when I saw the 3-barrel style crimpers, I was like, okay, let me check that out. So I've actually owned this for at least 6 months now. This is the one that you can get on Amazon. I believe the brand is Allure. I will leave the link for this exact one down below. It was like 30 or 40 bucks, and it's been awesome. So I'm going to show you how I use this. I do have my hair crimped in a lot of my videos, and a bunch of you guys have been asking for a tutorial, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. If you guys like hair tutorials, let me know. I'd love to do more. They're definitely fun. I don't know why I haven't put an emphasis on them on my channel, but let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more, or just comment anything so that we can chat. Comments are where it's at with the YouTube algorithm, so if you want to help my channel, I feel like I'm threatening you. Comment! If you want to help my channel, comment something down below. That is super helpful for me. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's get into this tutorial. So one of my preconceived notions of hair crimping was also that it would take a super long time to do, especially when you have long hair. But that is not the case either, especially with this crimper. This probably takes me 15 minutes, I want to say. I'm sure it's going to take me longer as I'm like talking through everything, because it always just takes me longer when I'm filming a tutorial. But yeah, it does not take an insane amount of time. So as you see here, I just clipped up like the top third of my hair. This is really what you're going to see and what we're going to want to focus more on. The bottom half we do want to wave, but it's not like as imperative that it's perfect. So I normally do a little more than half on the bottom, like around 2/3 on the bottom, and then I take about half on each side, and we start there. I then brush through my hair. I have the wet brush, which, gotta be honest, I don't know if it's good for my hair. I feel like it just rips through my hair, probably because you're supposed to use it when your hair is wet, but this is really the only brush I have, so I brush through. If you want to use a heat protectant, do so at this point. I am bad and I don't use a heat protectant. It really hasn't been an issue for my hair. I never really have used a heat protectant, and my hair is fairly healthy. I do use a few products towards the middle or end of when I'm doing my hair, so I will show you that, but right now we're just gonna jump in with the hair crimper. I put down this little metal stand, which is nice so that you don't burn your countertops. It is in Celsius, and I normally turn it up to like 200 degrees Celsius. I honestly have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. I think it's like probably 270, 275 Fahrenheit. It's very simple remote. It's just an on and then an up and down button for the temperatures. And it's just a clamp like this. 2 of the barrels come out and 1 of the barrels is in here. I normally start in the back, and I take a fairly large section. As you can see, my hair has some natural wave to it to begin with, especially in this underneath portion. If you have pin straight hair, you probably want to take smaller sections just to make sure that everything holds. Another great thing about this waver or just this style on my hair, this lasts days. When I curl my hair with like a barrel curling iron, it doesn't even barely last 2 days. And when I crimp my hair, it will last 3-4 days until I have to wash my hair again. I wash my hair probably once or twice a week. I take a section about this big. I'd say it's like a 1.5 to 2 inch section. And something I want to point out is when I am sectioning my hair, I'm taking horizontal sections, which is very different than when I curl my hair. When I curl my hair, I kind of just like take a chunk and curl it and it's no big deal. But it's kind of important to take horizontal sections so that the crimp lays flat, if you know what I mean. If you were to take like a vertical section and then crimp it, that's just like not gonna work. Is that making sense? So you take a horizontal section, and I will show you then how I use the crimper. I know there's a bunch of tutorials using this on YouTube. My hope is that maybe you just pick up a couple extra tips from my video, or if you haven't watched a tutorial on this yet, then hopefully this is helpful. But yeah, we're just gonna start at the top. It does not really matter which way you go until you get to the front pieces, which I will show you. But I just normally have the base part at the bottom and the 2 barrels on top. And then, sorry, I gotta be able to see in the mirror. I get it up as far as possible and I'm holding this very taut. And then I kind of just relax so that I can secure the hair into the crimper. And I hold this for 5 to 10 seconds, I would say. As you go down, you want to make sure that this top barrel is going to then line up with that last barrel, at least like where it indented into your hair. So as I move this here, I'm only going to move it down like 1 notch. So I replaced this barrel with this barrel. So it's not like a full section and then skip down a whole section. I kind of like layer it as I go, if that makes sense. And you can kind of feel where it's crimped, so you can just fit it right into place. This, I think, also helps it last longer. You're doubling the heat that you're using on each crimp, so it just really makes it last. Going back to my first hair tutorial ever, one of the comments that is just repeated throughout from so many people is that my intro was way too long. People were like, would you just hurry up and get to the curling? So I tried to make sure my intro in this video was fairly short. The positive comments were that it seemed like my video gave people tips that they hadn't heard of before, or I just explained it better than what they have heard before. So I'm hoping that this video isn't too repetitive from what you've seen from other people. I honestly never even watched a tutorial on how to do this. Well, that's not true. I did watch one tutorial with a completely different crimper. I haven't watched a tutorial with this crimper. But yeah, there's your crimped hair. So I just lightly place that back and then repeat all those steps. But yeah, you always learn as you make more and more videos what people like and don't like. So hopefully this video helps you out and is something a bit different. I normally do like 4 to 5 crimps for the length of my hair. My hair goes down to here. That's any reference. Obviously, the longer you hold it on there, the more tight your crimp is gonna be. If you wanna do a really loose wave, you could just go a lot more quickly. I kind of like to get a real good crimp in there because then, like I said, it lasts days, unless I just really need to wash my hair. As I continue down, I'm not holding it taut because that will pull out the wave that's up here. I'm actually doing the opposite and kind of like holding up that crimp, if that makes sense. This is similar to the tutorials I've done with curling, where I curl the hair and then I kind of hold it up and let it cool off and then let the curl drop. It's the same concept. So I'll just show you here as I gently go down. I don't hold this taut. I kind of just like let the crimped part rest up there. One side, at least of the bottom half. I'm going to speed up this part just so it's not so repetitive, and then once I get to the top portion of my head, I will give you some more tips, especially for these front pieces here. That is what I struggled with for a while trying to figure this out, so I will give you some tips for how to do that part. Okay, I'm on my last piece, and I did just want to show you too, if you have kind of an awkward amount of hair left where it's not going to fit in the whole barrel, still just do it and let it kind of get in there a little bit, because you don't want a straight end. You just kind of shimmy it up in there and get a little bit of crimp on that. So that is the bottom half. I'm just going to check in the mirror how it looks. So that's good. Any little imperfections in the wave is not a big deal because we are going to have hair that covers it. So now what I do is I carefully take my hair down. I keep my thumbs under here the whole time, separate my hair, and bring it forward. Then I just brush out, and you have to make sure that you like your part at this point, because you're not going to be able to change your part. If we crimp and then you try to change your part, it's not going to work. So you have to figure out your part, which is why I have this little guy. I think my part's okay. Okay. If you want to add any sort of like dry shampoo or anything like that to the roots, now is the time to do it, because you don't really want to be messing up with your roots. I'm using this Not Your Mother's Clean Freak dry shampoo. I really don't like this very much. I mean, it's okay. I don't really like the smell, and it leaves a slight white cast, but I bought it in a 2-pack, and that was like a year ago, and I still have some left, so I just am still having to use it. I recommend, what's the one? Redken, maybe? I should have mentioned this too. It's best to do this on hair that is at least 24 hours post shower. So if you just get out of the shower and then blow dry your hair, it'll work, but your hair isn't like bone dry. It's better when your hair is bone dry and even has a little grip to it. So I did not wash my hair today or even yesterday. This is like almost 2-day-old hair, and it just helps everything grip a little bit better. The first thing I'm going to do is actually take a section way here back at the crown, like a little bit from each side. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make sure the crimp straight in the back of our head is horizontal. I found that if I don't do this and I pull each section to the side, my crimp straight in the back almost forms like a V, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna take this and go straight across like this. And at this point on the top, you definitely want to make sure that the 2-barrel side is face up. You want to get those nice indents close to the root so that you don't have like an awkward amount of non-crimping going on. It doesn't matter as much underneath because, like I said, a lot of that root part is covered. But yeah, you want to make sure the 2 barrels are facing up. Sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't see. I can probably stretch one more, and then I'm going to bring it to the side. Okay, so that can go to the back. Okay, now I'm going to start going after these sections, and again, you want to make sure you're taking horizontal pieces like this and starting way up at the root as far as possible. You might even want to hold this first section a little bit longer than you maybe did underneath, just because this is really going to show. And I also really make sure to let that cool in a crimped position just by kind of pushing it up. We've kind of got a little awkward amount left, so I'm just gonna stick it in there quick. And there's another piece, throw it to the back, Get the underneath section if you have more. So at this point, when I have basically just this front portion, what I do is I will take it in half here, again because we want to make horizontal pieces, and make 2 sections, and this is the important piece, which I will get to as soon as I finish this one. Okay, so we're on to our first front piece, and how I do this will apply no matter where your part is. So even if you're doing a side part, it's still the same concept. So again, you want to make sure you have kind of like a horizontal section, so it's wider here than it is here, if that makes sense. You're going to get as close to the root as humanly possible, and at the same time you're going to kind of pull away from your head. This will allow the crimp to kind of go back. If I don't do this, the crimp kind of just like gets in my face and it's really weird. So I kind of pull away, and what this does is it leaves a little more space right here than the rest of your crimp because you're not able to get as much hair right from in here. So I pull away while also getting this as close as possible to your root. And the rest is the same as what we've been doing. Okay, and that's it. And you can kind of see how by pulling back, we have a nice crimp going away from the face and down. If you don't pull back, you risk getting like a really weird crimp right here. At least that's what's happened to me. So I'm going to do the same exact thing on this side. We're back to the final top piece, so I just wanted to show you again. I pull away, and this side's a little tricky for me because you're kind of like coming in from the back. I don't know. But yeah, you just want to get really close and make sure it's at the same angle that the other side is, if that makes sense. So you're almost creating like a triangle. So you've got your part, and then this is like creating a corner of a triangle down. You got like a little triangle going there. Hopefully that visual helps. Okay, and that is the last piece. You absolutely can go back in for touch-ups if you want to. Just beware if you don't get this slotted in the right area, if that makes sense. Like if you don't line this up with the crimp, it's gonna start to look funky. So I generally just don't do touch-ups. What we get is what we get. And then you can add any sort of finishing product that you might want. You can do hairspray, you can do a hair oil. I really like this Texture Wave Dry Finishing Spray from Shu Uemura. I only have a teeny bit left, but if you want to really amp up some of this volume, this is the way to do it. I kind of just go through, give it a spray, break them up just ever so slightly. I would not recommend brushing your hair unless you want like a full fro look. I then do like to take a hair oil just to tame it a little bit and make the crimp look really shiny and kind of like piece it together how I want. This is also from Shu Uemura. It's their Essence Absolute Nourishing Protective Camellia Oil. I just do 2 drops and I concentrate this at the ends here and then just work my way up. I feel like it kind of tames any frizz that you might get, or at least the look of frizz which you can get, and it makes the crimp look really shiny and like nourished and pretty. Okay, so this is the finished hair look. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if you did. Again, please comment down below. It really helps my channel. Plus, I love talking to you guys. Let me know if there's any specific hair tutorial you'd like to see next or any other videos. I do beauty, fashion, try-on hauls, mommy videos. I am a mom of 1 toddler, so we do videos like that as well. I would love to have you join the family. But that is it though, guys. I love you all so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye!